Hello, this is Angelo. There's another video that I'm making. Um, Today I wanted to talk about fear. Fear is a big thing that a lot of us have dealt with in our life. I think it's driven a lot of people in our society. Um, I've realized lately with the threat of war coming in Iran with the strikes by the United States government against foreign leaders and foreign just other countries. I mean, foreign, I say foreign because it's over there. We don't see it in our presence. We don't see the mushroom clouds and the explosions and the body parts flying around. But we're all connected, as I've said before, and fear is something that can connect people just as powerfully almost as love. I'm a big proponent of love and peace and harmony. I think that is what everyone ideally wants deep down inside. I think that some people are corrupted by power and I think greed and other things like that. But fear is something that plays a role in the lives of a lot of people in our society. There's a lyric by Queen that says something along the lines of in the shadow of the mushroom cloud. And I think about that because we grew up in an age where even our parents' generation were doing the duck and cover drills, getting under their desks in school, learning what to do if a nuclear strike happens, getting into a bomb shelter. These are things that us human beings shouldn't be focusing on. We shouldn't be thinking about. But we do, because this is a history that we have of destruction towards one another. And it makes very little sense until you start unraveling it and seeing that fear is a powerful, powerful weapon, almost worse than the actual strike of the actual weapons that dismember people. And I think about my own fear and how I've been working so hard to push fear aside as any sort of motivator in my life and to have joy, peace, and love be the motivators in my life. If you're motivated by fear, you're doing things because you're afraid that the alternative, what might happen if you don't do them. Instead of being motivated by love, where you're striving towards a goal that is wonderful, that you are just ecstatic about receiving and feeling instead of running away. So it is a sort of a fight or flight mechanism that comes out of our prefrontal mind, brain, cortex, and we are a very cerebral animal. The human brain takes up a good chunk. The prefrontal part of the human brain takes up a good chunk of the brain. It's about 40% of our brain is our prefrontal brain, and that's where we do a lot of our analytical fight or flight, just reactive sort of thinking and being. And I didn't really get this speech today structured the way that I wanted to, but I wanted to tie it into the fact that I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, an oligodendroglioma, which is not completely relevant at this point, except I've talked to a few people who are also going through this, so shout out to them, and much love to everyone out there who's dealing with something. But the brain tumor situation put me in a state of fear. I started taking medications, I underwent procedures, I did all kinds of things because I was afraid if I didn't do it, the alternative would be death, worse health. And sometimes there are these times in our life where we have to make a hard decision. We have to let things go. We have to let go of people. We have to move away from something that could harm us. And that's when, that fight or flight mechanism of our mind comes in handy. You put your hand on a stove, like you move it away. Your reaction is fear because, oh, that's going to burn me. That's going to hurt me. It could kill me. But usually I find it's best to operate out of the mode of love. And that is what I want to share today, is that love conquers all. They say love trumps hate. It does. You take the most hatred you can find in the world, and the greatest love is going to overcome it. Because ask any human being, even those who we see as warmongers or people who are masters of war and destruction and people who like to fight and rage and all. They don't like to, but they do it. Ask them, do you want peace? And I would tell you that probably 99% of people would ultimately say they want peace and love. And there would be a caveat that would say, but, yes, but, because they don't believe. There's a fear. There's a fear underlying that was ingrained somewhere in there. And tying that into health and having a serious health condition, how can fear play such a role in our lives? When we're in a state of fear and anxiety and stress, our genes and our brain sends chemicals throughout telling us that we are in a fight or flight situation. Now, modern Western Americans especially have these chemicals, cortisol and whatnot, flying through our bodies and our brains all the time when we're just stressed about work, we're stressed about a relationship, we're stressed about having to get some fast food because we're in a hurry, and all these things, instead of letting go because we've got bills. We live in a money-based currency society. Everything is so stressful. We're stepping over other people because we're afraid that we're not going to get what we need to survive. And so we've become individuated. We're not a cohesive collective society. And this goes on a cellular level for ourselves, that we are so worried about what's going to happen next for our health that we work ourselves up into a worsening state of health and well-being. Our breath gets short and our muscles clench. Our spine crunches. Our shoulders feel all that tension. Our temples feel heart, lungs, stomach, all these nerve ganglias are just uptight, and then our genes express in negative ways that affects our health and our well-being. But as the old man Winston Churchill says, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Was that him or Teddy Roosevelt or Franklin Delano Roosevelt? I'm not a historian, but I know feelings and I know where I'm coming from here on this topic of fear, because I've known fear all too well. And it's something that I work every day on letting go. When I do my morning manifestation, meditation, what I focus on wanting is happiness and health. The two most important things that we could have in life is happiness and health. Without these two things, we have nothing. And I think they're one and the same. So, trying to make my point so many different ways, using analogies or, little stories. Not very articulate today, but coming from the heart with gratitude to say that fear does not have to be our way. Happiness and peace and love do not have to be laughed at. Oh, you're some kind of a hippie. Oh, you're crunchy. Or you're fruity like that. You know what? I am. And I'm proud to be. And I'm strong in being fruity and happy and full of joy. Because that's the person and the life that I choose. And I hope that you choose this too. Because once you let go of all of that, you will realize that a lot of the tension in your health, your physical manifestation of those emotions, your physical health and well-being will follow suit, and you will become healthier. It really is a lot in your head. We can control so much with our mind and spirit that will affect our body. I've learned this. And treating our body well, making those micro decisions that turn into lifestyles can really impact your life. Starting a morning ritual every day. When you get up, if you start having those negative thoughts, say to yourself, stop or change or whatever it is, and redirect your focus to something that's going to make your life better, not something that reinforces a fear. Because fear has no place in our life except to save us in the most crucial and dire moments. When the saber-toothed tigers are chasing the hunter-gatherer, Homo erectus, or you step out and a car runs through a red light, it's going to hit you. There's that jolt of fear and you move out of the way. Fear serves you. But that's a survival mechanism. It's not a mode to run on continuously throughout your day, which causes tension and negative expressions within your cells and on a cellular level. So choose joy, peace, harmony, happiness, and if that's hard for you, work on it. Work on it. Start writing in a journal and making notes of things that you're grateful for and things that you're happy about and things that you want to improve on. And believe that you can get there. And if you fall back, don't use that as a reinforcement that things are getting worse for you. You know, we all have endocrine systems that are breaking down with age, and we all are going to die someday. Well, I say my goal is immortality, and so far so good. But that's a joke, and you get my point that we are all mortals. Everything in life is both infinite and impermanent. Infinite in the sense that matter can neither be created nor destroyed, as Einstein said. So what we're made up of ends up somewhere else. It moves away, it rearranges itself. But by impermanence, I mean this manifestation of ourselves that we see now, these glasses, this face, this beard, this shirt, this me that I call me, which is just trillions upon trillions of cells that have organized themselves through this miracle of existence that allows us to be within just a righteous amount of distance from this fireball that's bringing life that could also scorch us. It's a miracle that we're here. So think about the miracle of your life and lead with love and gratitude if you can. And yes, I'm a crunchy hippie. Oi, oi, oi. Peace, y'all.